Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment every dream you've ever had, big or small, standing right in front of you. You reach out to grab it, but suddenly a wall rises up between you and that dream. That wall is rejection, failure, doubt, and struggle. Most people see the wall and walk away. But a few decide to climb, to break through, or to build a door where none exists. And it's those people, the ones who see obstacles not as endings, but as beginnings, who change their lives and sometimes even the world. When people encounter rejection, most immediately think of it as a final judgment. A job application denied, business proposal turned down, or even a personal dream met with laughter can feel like a door slammed shut forever. But rejection, in truth, is never the end. It is simply the beginning of a different path, one you might not have imagined at first. When life says no, it is not declaring you unworthy. Instead, it is directing you towards something you are meant to discover, a lesson you are meant to learn, or a skill you are meant to develop. Many of the most successful journeys began with stories of rejection. The reality is, rejection is not a full stop. It is a comma in the sentence of your life. Think about how many times you have heard of people being denied opportunities only to use that very denial as motivation to push harder. Every rejection brings with it a message. Often that message is growth. Perhaps the rejection is telling you to sharpen your skills, to refine your ideas, or to build more resilience. When a university denies admission, it may sting, but it also pushes you to look for other doors, sometimes better ones. When an investor says no, it may hurt. It could force you to rethink your vision in a way that makes it stronger. Every closed door leaves you with two choices: give up or knock on the next one with more strength. The power of rejection lies in how you interpret it. Many people allow it to define them negatively, believing they are simply not good enough. Those who rise above see it differently. They see rejection as feedback, as a signpost. It says, not this way, but another way. If you embrace it with this mindset, rejection becomes a compass that helps guide you, not a wall that blocks you. The truth is, the more rejections you face, the closer you are to a breakthrough. The person who never tries never gets rejected, but they also never achieve. It is the courage to face rejection repeatedly that creates eventual success. Rejection also has a hidden gift. It toughens the mind and builds humility. Every no you receive strips away your illusions and forces you to dig deeper within yourself. It forces you to find out how badly you want something. If one rejection is enough to make you quit, then perhaps your dream was not strong enough in the first place. If you keep going after dozens of rejections, then you prove to yourself more than to anyone else that your determination is unshakable. This inner toughness becomes the foundation upon which all great achievements are built. You begin to understand that rejection is not a verdict against you, a test of your persistence. Another way to view rejection is as a filter. Not every opportunity is truly meant for you. Sometimes a rejection saves you from going down a path that would not have served your growth or happiness. It clears space for better opportunities. Imagine if every door opened easily. There would be no clarity, no way to know which path was truly right for you. Rejection ensures that only the most committed keep moving forward. It separates those who are merely interested from those who are fully invested. In many ways, rejection is the spark of innovation. Told no, people are forced to think differently, to innovate, to create something new. Groundbreaking ideas in history often emerged after traditional paths were blocked. The no became the reason someone looked for another way. And in that search, they found greatness. This is the ultimate truth. Rejection is not the end. It is an invitation to begin again, wiser, stronger, and more determined than before. Failure has always carried a heavy weight in people's minds. The very word can create fear, hesitation, and sometimes even shame. Yet when we look closer, failure is not the tombstone many assume it to be. It does not mark the end of one's journey, nor does it write the final chapter of one's story. Instead, it is a teacher. It stands as a moment of reflection, a lesson carved out of experience, and a push toward greater strength. Every person who has walked the path of progress has encountered failure. Separates those who succeed from those who stop halfway is not the absence of failure, but the willingness to treat it as a guide rather than a grave. Failure is one of life's most honest forms of feedback. When you attempt something and it does not work, the result is not a condemnation of your worth, but a reflection of your current preparation, strategy, or timing. That feedback is priceless. It reveals gaps in your skills, in your thinking, or flaws in your planning. If you avoid failure altogether by never trying, you miss out on these lessons. Only by experiencing setbacks can you learn where you need to improve. It is through these moments that knowledge is transformed from theory into wisdom. Without failure would be shallow and progress would be fragile. Consider how many people try once, stumble, and then abandon their dreams. They let the sting of failure convince them that they are incapable. But in truth, the first failure is rarely about capability. It is about adjustment. The child who falls when learning to walk is not incapable of walking. The student who fails a test is not doomed to ignorance. The entrepreneur whose first business collapses is not destined to remain unsuccessful. Each of these failures carries within it the seeds of future success. The child learns balance, the student learns discipline, and the entrepreneur learns strategy. It is only when failure is misread as a final verdict that it becomes destructive. Failure also has a way of building resilience like nothing else can. Success feels good, but it teaches little. Failure, on the other hand, stretches the limits of endurance. It forces people to question how much they want something. It strips away excuses and demands persistence. When you face failure head on and rise again, you build a toughness that no easy victory could ever give you. That toughness becomes part of your character, and it prepares you for greater challenges ahead. The very act of enduring failure makes you stronger, more disciplined, and more determined. At the same time, failure brings humility. It reminds us that we are not invincible, that we still have much to learn. This humility is not weakness, it is clarity. It keeps the mind open to learning and the heart open to growth. Who have never failed often carry pride that blinds them. Those who have stumbled and risen again, however, carry perspective. They understand the value of patience, the importance of preparation, and the power of persistence. They do not take success for granted because they know what it feels like to be denied. Failure is not only a personal teacher, it is a collective one. Stories of failure inspire others because they show that setbacks are universal. They prove that even those who achieve greatness have walked through moments of despair and disappointment. These stories create connection and encourage others not to quit when they face their own difficulties. They spread the truth that failure is not the end of the road, only a bend in it. When failure is embraced with the right mindset, it becomes a tool sharper than any success. It points out flaws, builds resilience, nurtures humility, and inspires both the individual and those around them. It is never the tombstone people fear. It is the classroom where character is forged and destiny is shaped. Adaptability is one of the most underrated strengths a person can cultivate when facing obstacles. Life rarely unfolds according to plan. Goals are set, strategies are made, and dreams are envisioned, but reality has a way of presenting challenges that force us to rethink the path forward. In these moments, the people who survive and thrive are not the ones with the most rigid plans, but the ones willing to bend without breaking. Adaptability does not mean abandoning your vision. It means adjusting your approach while keeping your purpose intact. It is the art of moving forward, even when the road you planned is blocked. When an obstacle appears, it is natural to feel frustrated. You might have invested time, energy, and even your heart into a particular path, only to watch it collapse. The instinct may be to resist change and cling to what was supposed to happen. But the truth is, resistance often prolongs suffering. The obstacle does not disappear simply because you refuse to accept it. Adaptability begins with acceptance. the courage to acknowledge that things did not go the way you expected. From this acceptance comes the clarity to ask, what can I do differently? Other path is available. That shift in perspective transforms an obstacle from an immovable wall into a doorway towards something new. Adaptability is not about weakness or surrender. It is about intelligence and resilience. When water meets a rock, it does not stop flowing. It finds a way around, over, or through it. That is the essence of adaptability. You learn to flow rather than fight. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history were born because someone was forced to adapt. Failed invention turned into a groundbreaking discovery. A rejected idea evolved into a stronger, more impactful vision. Obstacles forced change, and change created progress. Another important aspect of adaptability is flexibility without losing focus. It is easy to confuse adaptability with inconsistency, but they are not the same. Inconsistency means abandoning your vision every time difficulty arises, while adaptability means holding on to your vision, but being willing to try different strategies to achieve it. The vision remains constant, the method evolves. A business that cannot adapt to new markets fades away. One that adjusts its strategy while staying true to its mission grows stronger. A student who changes study techniques after failing an exam adapts while still pursuing the goal of learning. The ability to pivot without losing sight of the destination is what defines true adaptability. Obstacles test not only your patience, but also your creativity. Being adaptable means using challenges as an opportunity to think differently. When the usual route is blocked, you must explore alternatives you never considered before. This creative stretch often leads to solutions more powerful than the original plan. A setback at work might push you to develop new skills. A personal disappointment might open doors to opportunities you never imagined. Adaptability unlocks hidden strengths by forcing you to dig deeper into your resourcefulness. There is also a psychological power in adaptability. Those who adapt are less likely to be broken by stress and disappointment. They do not spend endless time mourning what could have been, but instead redirect their energy into what still can be. This mindset creates resilience. Instead of being stuck in frustration, you become energized by the possibilities of change. The more you practice adaptability, the less fear you carry when facing obstacles, because you know you will find a way to move forward no matter what happens. Ultimately, adaptability ensures that obstacles do not end your journey but shape it. Each time you adjust, you grow more skilled at navigating uncertainty. You learn that while you cannot control every event in life, you can control your response. In that response lies the power to turn any obstacle into a stepping stone. Perseverance is often underestimated in comparison to talent, yet it is the quiet force that turns ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. Talent can open doors, but it is perseverance that keeps them open. Many people possess natural abilities, but without the discipline to keep working when progress is slow, their potential fades away. Perseverance is the ability to keep going despite fatigue, rejection, or repeated failure. It is the decision to wake up each day and continue the journey even when the results are not immediate. While talent is a gift, perseverance is a choice, and that choice ultimately defines who succeeds and who falls short. When faced with obstacles, talent may provide a head start, but perseverance ensures you reach the finish line. Think of a runner in a long-distance race. Some may begin strong because of their natural speed, but as the miles stretch on, it is endurance that separates the finishers from those who stop midway. Life works in the same way. The road is long, filled with twists and setbacks, and talent alone cannot sustain you through all of it. Those who persevere, who refuse to stop, are the ones who complete the journey. Perseverance provides momentum when talent alone runs out of energy. Another important truth about perseverance is that it builds consistency, and consistency compounds over time. Steady efforts, when repeated daily, lead to massive outcomes. Talent might help you shine once, but perseverance helps you shine again and again. Transforms effort into habit and habit into mastery. A musician may be born with an ear for melody, but only perseverance through endless practice perfects their craft. A writer may have a natural way with words, but only perseverance through countless drafts produces a masterpiece. Talent without perseverance is like a seed without water, promise but never grows. Perseverance also strengthens character. Each time you choose to keep going, you build resilience, discipline, and self-belief. It is easy to continue when things are smooth and recognition comes quickly. The real test is whether you continue when the applause is gone, when the world doubts you, and when you doubt yourself. Those who persevere in silence, without immediate reward, develop an inner toughness that no external challenge can shake. They learn to depend not on praise but on purpose. That strength becomes their foundation, carrying them through storms that talent alone could never withstand. There is a deceptive quality to talent because it can make success look effortless from the outside. Behind every remarkable achievement lies a story of perseverance that most people never see. The long nights of work, the repeated failures, countless times the person wanted to quit but chose not to. This is the real source of greatness. Perseverance fills the gap between dreams and reality. It bridges the distance between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, talent remains unrealized, like a story left unfinished. Moreover, perseverance breeds patience, and patience allows time for progress to unfold. In a world that celebrates instant success, perseverance teaches that real growth takes time. The fruit of effort is not immediate, requires seasons of nurturing, waiting, and working. Those who quit too soon miss the harvest. Those who persevere, however, experience rewards far greater than what talent alone could deliver. They understand that every struggle, every delay, and every small step forward contributes to the eventual breakthrough. Perseverance outweighs talent because it is not limited by circumstance. You may not control the gifts you are born with, but you can always control your decision to keep moving forward. Anyone can choose perseverance, and in that choice lies unlimited potential. It is perseverance that transforms dreams into reality, setbacks into stepping stones, and ordinary people into extraordinary success stories. Weakness is often seen as a limitation, something to hide or avoid, but in reality, it can be transformed into an advantage when approached with the right mindset. Every person carries certain shortcomings, disadvantages, or vulnerabilities. While they may feel like barriers, they are often opportunities in disguise. The difference lies in perception. When you focus only on what you lack, weakness appears as a permanent obstacle. But when you look at it with creativity and determination, weakness becomes a unique strength, something that sets you apart from others and teaches you lessons that pure talent or privilege never could. History is filled with examples of people who turned their so-called weaknesses into their greatest assets. Some struggled with poverty and learned resourcefulness. Others faced rejection and built resilience. Some battled physical limitations and developed extraordinary willpower. In each case, seemed like a disadvantage at first became the foundation of success. Weakness has a way of forcing you to think differently, to push harder, and to create paths where none exist. This way, it can give you an edge over those who may have had easier beginnings, but never developed the same level of grit. Weakness also shapes perspective. People who face difficulties often develop empathy, an understanding that cannot be taught in textbooks. Their struggles connect them to others in ways that build trust and loyalty. A leader who has faced failure will be more compassionate toward the failures of others. A teacher who once struggled to learn will be more patient with their students. This perspective is born not out of strength, but out of weakness, and it becomes a powerful tool for inspiring and guiding others. Once felt like a burden becomes the very reason others look to you for strength. Another important way weakness becomes an advantage is through innovation. You cannot rely on what comes easily. You are forced to find alternative approaches. This struggle sparks creativity. For example, someone without financial resources may learn to build something out of nothing, discovering solutions others with more resources might overlook. Someone who lacks formal education might develop smart strategies that are equally effective. Weakness pushes you out of your comfort zone and forces you to use imagination, persistence, and resourcefulness to move forward. These qualities often lead to breakthroughs that raw talent alone could not achieve. Weakness also builds discipline. Success does not come easily. You learn the value of preparation, practice, and consistency. You understand that every step counts, every effort matters, and nothing can be taken for granted. That discipline, born from weakness, eventually becomes a lifelong strength. In contrast, who rely only on natural talent may falter when challenges demand more than what their talent alone can provide. Weakness demands commitment, and commitment builds a foundation that is unshakable. There is also the hidden power of motivation that comes from weakness. Told you cannot achieve something because of your limitations, the fire within grows stronger. Doubt from others often becomes fuel to prove them wrong. That inner drive, ignited by weakness, pushes people to work harder and rise higher than anyone expected. In this sense, weakness becomes the reason behind relentless determination. Looked like a disadvantage becomes the very energy that powers success. Ultimately, weakness is not a curse but a teacher. It teaches resilience, creativity, perspective, and discipline. It pushes you to discover strengths you did not know you had. It forces you to grow in directions you might never have explored if everything had come easily. By reframing weakness as an opportunity instead of a limitation, you can transform it into your greatest advantage. Once made you feel small becomes the very thing that makes you stand tall. Obstacles come in all shapes and sizes, and while the smaller ones may irritate or frustrate us, it is the larger ones that truly test the depth of our character. Big obstacles often appear overwhelming at first glance. They can make the path ahead seem impossible and the dream unreachable. Yet, if you look closely, these very challenges carry within them the potential for the greatest transformation. Bigger the obstacle, the greater the growth, because such trials force us to stretch beyond our comfort zones, demand qualities we never knew we had, and shape us into individuals we never imagined we could become. Large obstacles strip away illusions and comfort. They present situations where talent alone is not enough, resources seem scarce, and where doubt feels stronger than hope. In these moments, you are compelled to dig deeper into yourself, to discover reserves of patience, courage, creativity that smaller challenges never required. It is in these struggles that resilience is born. Just as iron must face the fire to become steel, people must face significant obstacles to harden their will and sharpen their focus. Without these trials, growth remains shallow and untested. There is also a magnifying effect that comes with big obstacles. Small challenges may develop small improvements, but large ones demand complete transformation. You face something so difficult that it shakes you to your core. You are forced to reassess not only your methods, but also your mindset. You begin to see weaknesses you ignored, habits that hold you back, and beliefs that limit you. The obstacle becomes a mirror, showing you not just what you are up against, but also who you are. Confronting it forces you to refine your vision, strengthen your discipline, and cultivate perseverance on a level you may never have reached otherwise. Through large obstacles also brings perspective. Once you have faced something truly formidable and endured it, smaller challenges no longer intimidate you. Once seemed unbearable now looks manageable because you have already proven to yourself that you can survive worse. This shift in perspective gives you confidence and calmness when facing future difficulties. It builds a mindset that sees obstacles not as threats, but as opportunities for growth. Significant the challenge, the more profound the perspective it leaves behind. Big obstacles also carry the gift of clarity. When the path is difficult, distractions fall away, and only what truly matters remains. You begin to prioritize with precision, focusing on your deepest goals rather than temporary comforts. Challenges test your commitment and ask whether your dream is worth fighting for. If you continue despite the struggle, you affirm that your vision is not a passing desire, but a deep calling. That clarity gives strength, ensuring that when you finally overcome the obstacle, you not only achieve success, but also understand why it matters so deeply to you. Another hidden benefit of big obstacles is the ability to inspire others. Struggles are not endured in isolation. People watch, learn, and draw strength from the way someone handles adversity. When you face immense difficulties and continue moving forward, courage becomes an example. Others see that it is possible to stand tall, even when the weight of the world feels heavy. Your growth then becomes a source of hope for those around you, proving that obstacles are not the end of the story, but the turning point of it. Often said that storms make trees take deeper roots. The same applies to human beings. Without the storm, the roots remain shallow, but with it, they grow deeper and stronger. The bigger the obstacle, the greater the transformation, because it requires more of you than you thought you could give. In the process, you do not just overcome the obstacle, you become someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. That is the true gift hidden inside life's greatest challenges. Obstacles are not curses placed on our path. They are invitations to grow stronger, think deeper, and rise higher. Rejection teaches us resilience. Failure shapes our wisdom. Adaptability guides our journey. Perseverance fuels our progress. Weaknesses sharpen our strengths. And the biggest challenges bring the greatest growth. Will never hand us a road without barriers, but it will always give us the chance to choose how we respond. And in that choice lies our power. So the next time you face a wall, stop. Remember, it isn't blocking your way. It is building the person you are meant to become.